Four teams can claim the 1 seed: Niners, Packers, Saints, and Seahawks. It'll be Green Bay, New Orleans, or Seattle in the 2 and 3 seeds. The 4 will be either the Eagles or the Cowboys, and the loser of San Fran and Seattle falls all the way down to the 5th seed. It's less complicated, though, in the AFC. The Ravens have clinched home field throughout. The Pats, Chiefs, and Texans are fighting for the 2, 3, and 4 seeds. The Bills locked in at 5, while Tennessee, Pittsburgh, and Oakland are all fighting for that final 6th spot. For one final Saturday, though, guys, we're going to discuss the NFL 100's all-time team. So last night was the final episode in a 6-week series counting down the top players in NFL history, and they saved the quarterbacks for last. Here's a look at the 10 quarterbacks named to the team. We begin with Sammy Ball. He's joined right there by Tom Brady, John Elway, Brett Favre, Otto Graham, Peyton Manning on the list, of course, Dan Marino, Joe Montana, Roger Staubach, and Johnny Unitas. One of the best parts about this series, though, has been the stories shared by these legendary players. So let's look back at one from last night with Brady and Bill Belichick.
When did you know that he was something a little bit different?
Well, Tom was special his rookie year. Even though he didn't play, his leadership with the other rookies in the class, we had a big rookie class. Tom took them every day after practice and would run them up and down the field in their offensive plays, and was clearly a leader on the field. And then, had a very good training camp in 2001. Kind of the crossroads was in the middle of the 2001 season when we played the Rams. That was the week that Drew had come back, and so I split the reps between Tom and Drew that week. And the Rams beat us in that regular season game on Sunday night.
Warner straight back. Sets up, now steps up, fires for the end zone, caught, touchdown Rams.
And I didn't think that was Tom's best game, but in retrospect, I looked at it and thought that it would be hard for anybody to play well, only getting half the reps. So the following week against New Orleans, I said, we're just going with Tom, and he's going to get all the reps, and he's going to play. That's what Mr. Kraft's paying me to do, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the decisions that I think are the best for the football team. T-E-A-M as in team. You played very well in that game, and I think that's one of the real trademarks of Tom's career is there've been a couple games along the way where it hasn't been his best, but the next game has always come back and been, an outstanding game. So that was a real turning point, I would say, in that season and ultimately in the evolution of Tom's great career.
Tom, are you aware that he thought you were special, part of the rookie class at the time? Is that news to you right now, or did you know that?
Yes and no. I mean, I think him putting me on the field, I knew that he was confident in me. And obviously, over a lot of years of playing for him, I realized that he was always going to play, the person that he thought was best for the team. And he'll tell you all the time, it doesn't matter where you come from. I don't give a where you were drafted, how we got you here. You're here to win. And if you're not the best guy, you're not playing. I think that was a great opportunity for me, who's someone who was, a late round pick. And you think, God, that guy's going to get a lot more chances. And it wasn't the case. He felt like, if you were on the team, you showed it on the practice field, you delivered when it mattered the most, and, you were going to get another shot to get out there and play.
It's so interesting to hear all the different stories, and now this list is out with the quarterbacks, and you think about just the way that the position has really changed over the years.
That's an understatement. Yeah, positions changed a whole hell of a lot. Just look at the MVP candidates that's going on right now. They have a different look than this top 100 quarterbacks list right now. You got the Deshaun Watsons, you got the Russell Wilsons. I just think in another 100 years, if we did a 200-year look at the quarterbacks, I think this list will be drastically different. I think it shows how far or how we haven't come in America to see it looked like that. Warren Moon to me should have been a part of the conversation. I don't know. I would have chose some other quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Listen, I know what he's saying. Go ahead, touch it.
Hey, look. M-Rob's 100% right. It's hard to fathom 100 years of football and not put one black quarterback on the list. Warren Moon's probably most notably probably the most impressive candidate who's probably should have been on that list.
He's got the numbers to back it up.
He spent 6 years prior to even stepping on the NFL field in the CFL, had the hardest path to get here. That's kind of why I love Kurt Warner's story so much.
Why did he play in the CFL?
Why I love Drew Brees' story so much. You're right, because they didn't want to give him an opportunity. So to defy all those odds, I think we've seen with this list, it encompasses so much, not necessarily even talent. It encompasses even guys who changed the game for the better. And I think Warren Moon is definitely one of those guys. Drew Brees, to me, you know, I said it earlier. He's a guy that I had the chance to play against, and I can't say Peyton Manning and Tom Brady without putting Drew Brees in that same category, because the same sleepless nights I had, you know, preparing for Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, it was literally the exact same with Drew Brees, if not even harder, because he knew that offense so well that it was, I mean, it was like him looking at the back of his hand. He knew every single spot. He knew where every guy was going to be.
I think Richard Sherman summed it up. I mean, he tweeted a couple hours ago. He said, you know, in his opinion, that it's tough to take all the generations and put them together.
Impossible.
You probably need to do this by decades.
Impossible.
You know what I mean?
Well, and if you had done that, it would look different.
Yes.
You know, I understand your point. Other folks have raised the issue on social media about a lack of diversity in those quarterbacks that we're seeing.
Because every other list had a lot of diversity. I mean, you look at the way the league is. It's 85% a certain way.
Your issue is, I don't think your issue is so much with the list, so much as the history of the game. Right. And maybe some guys weren't afforded the same opportunity that other guys were. But you're right, the NFL 200 list is going to look a lot different, because we've got more of a different mindset when it comes to the quarterback position. So
we're playing different football. Yeah.
I get what you're saying, and in 100 years when you're sitting here at the desk and we're sitting here and we're talking about it, well, you know, because life expectancy has gone up. I will say this: if you did miss that show last night, you get a chance to watch the replay or something. There is a point at which Tom Brady tells a story about how he stole a protection from Peyton Manning. You got to go see it. It's on social. You can see it. It's on the NFL Network account. And basically said half of Rob Gronkowski's production in the NFL came because I stole this protection from Peyton Manning as they shared ideas.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder if
it was that max protection, and then after he finishes blocking.
It's the play action counter. Boom.
Let me tell you, Coach Belichick jumps in and tells Tom, hey, hold up now. That protection wasn't sound. Yeah. Protection wasn't actually sound. You also had the option to check out of that if it didn't work, you know, because the protection was totally off. They basically just pulled the lineman that made you think run in their run action, and it opened up the middle of the field for Gronk. It basically was like an RPO before RPO.
It is.
Ooh, plenty of stories like that. If you missed last night's 2-hour finale, don't worry, because we got you. An encore episode coming up tomorrow morning. Jeezy, set your DVR. I know you already watched it, but you can watch it again. The Vikings tweeting out their injury report. No Dalvin Cook or Eric Kendricks this week. You can see all the guys that are questionable as well. But keep in mind that they already have the 6th seed locked up, so they'll probably be resting a good amount of starters. Hoping to rebound, though, after last week's loss to the Packers. That outcome clearly bothering Kirk Cousins still.
Last night when I got home from work, sat in my recliner and I looked at my wife and I said, you know, Julie, you did a really good job with Christmas. You know, the boys had a great Christmas and you did a great job, and just your effort, and it was outstanding. And she said, well, thank you for faking it and not being a crab all day. And I said, yeah, I didn't feel like it was a great Christmas, but I tried to put a smile on. So sometimes you fake it till you make it.
Well, it's been the knock on Kirk Cousins, the struggles that he's had against good teams, and that trend, it continues this season. He's 1-4 against teams in playoff position, 9-1 versus non-playoff teams. The numbers significantly better against.
So it ain't his fault that he's 9-1 too against the bad teams, huh?
Yeah, that ain't all his either.
Some Vikings fans might want to return Kirk Cousins. I don't know, that feels kind of harsh. But anyway, it's that time of year, return season. So all the gifts that you didn't want, the wrong size, the wrong color, wrong brand, wrong whatever, they got to go back. And we have some old takes that we want to return as well. So our cashier, Josh, is going to help us down there on the end. D-Hall, you're up first.
Josh, I have a receipt.
Oh, dear.
Will you please accept this return?
Oh, do you?
First, I will apologize to the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle Shanahan, I owe you an apology, man. I knew you were a great coach. I spent a lot of time around you. but I didn't know you were this good. Look, let me give that back real quick. Hey, Jimmy G, I'm sorry, buddy. I did not think the 49ers could win football games solely on this guy's arm. That arm right there. I didn't think so. I saw